welcome back to The Watch. And, Oz, we have just watched The Kingdom of the Rise of the Battle for the Birth of the...
I just call it of the series. It's the of the.
Planet of the Apes. This one is actually The Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
No. The Kingdom was the king. No, it was the Kingdom of the Planet. Yes, it was the Kingdom of the Planet.
Thank you, Oz.
Sorry, you're missing a few of the's in that. That's all. So I was thinking.
So, this was a painfully boring film.
Yep.
I didn't like it.
I didn't like it either.
Yeah.
But I probably didn't. Well, I liked it, but for all the reasons that I would usually dislike things.
Why is that?
Well, to make this even more confusing, I can't really explain it without probably being everyone looking at me like, what the hell is wrong? What are you talking about? That's what people... If I explain to you the symbols that I see and the meaning that I give them, I would be looked at like a crazy person.
Yes.
The people who don't know will be like, what does that mean? People who do know, I just need to name the planet Saturn, and they'll be like, oh, that's what he's talking about.
Let me explain some things. This film, I wanted to like this film. I've actually enjoyed all the other reboots of the series of the Planet of the Rise of the Birth of the Apes.
Yes.
I've enjoyed them all, although I haven't watched them in a while. I don't know how well they hold up. And it's been a minute since I've dived into them, but I do remember enjoying them, and I wanted to enjoy this film, and I just couldn't. I didn't find myself caring about anyone in it, not invested in a single thing, and I didn't even know what is the film trying to say or get you to root for? Who are the good guys? Yeah, they were clear bad guys, yet at the same time, what were they saying about? Did they want humans to recover? Did they not want humans to recover? It was just kind of meandering with no clear goal. And what's annoying, like, the female, the human, right? You see her in the trailers. We'll try and go light on spoilers before we go, but nothing makes too much... When I say sense, it's like it doesn't tell you what her goals are. And at the very end, that's kind of still grey and not defined.
Yeah.
You know the Apes' main goal, which is... it's not a big spoiler. He needs to save his clan, basically. But I didn't care about the clan. I didn't care about anyone.
Yeah, honestly, I was kind of rooting for the Caesar.
At least he had some vision, you know?
He had some vision, exactly, you know? Fair enough, mate. You're doing a good job. Getting everyone together.
Building a kingdom.
Yeah.
The individual kind of effects were pretty good. I think the apes looked pretty...
Visual
pretty
effects?
Good. Yeah,
Yeah.
visual effects. Yeah. And they actually ended up emoting quite well. I think they spent way too long in the setup of the film. But then everything takes too long to the point where you don't care. And I was feeling very bored through this film. I can't even remember how long it took, but it felt like it just took too long.
Yeah.
Now, in terms of how offensively bad it is, like, nothing was so horrendous that made me just go like, ugh, or groan or anything. It was just so slow and I wasn't invested. There wasn't anything like over... No wokeness, really. There's no offensive kind of subversive propaganda or messaging in it. It was just a really bland, boring film.
Well, at the end, there was some stuff that I would argue is...
Yeah, well, let's discuss that then, as we go into spoilers. For me, this is like a 3 out of 10. Like, it was just real... Like... It's hard for me to gauge it because usually films that I really dislike have such stupid things that make me go like crazy, and that's where it gets really low scores, where it is so dumb it offends me. Yeah. This is so boring it offends me while being so inoffensive at the same time.
Yeah.
And so I wonder if it deserves a lower score because I was just so bleh. Out of it all.
Probably because the other things that annoy you because of how stupid they are, they have way more complexity in them. This one is very simple, but at the same time in its simplicity doesn't really give you much to work with.
Yeah, but then there are some dumb moments in it, and we'll mention those in the spoiler section, that just don't make sense. And everything else is pretty bland. surface level, non-complex, without anything really strong to root for. Now, you might say, well, it's the journey of... So the main ape, his name is Noah. He has a bit of a quest to try and save people. I'm trying to figure out why I didn't care about that journey.
Probably because he was a weak character. That's probably the best explanation.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, like... I am a bit more invested in how the humans survive, because I'm a human, and you kind of want the humans, there's that. But I had no problem kind of identifying or being invested in the ape characters or the, fate of the apes in the previous films. This one didn't have it for me.
You know the ape I did like? The who was the one who was kind of like the
orangutan one?
The orangutan.
Yeah.
I liked him. He was cool.
I liked him, yeah. All right, so, yeah, like 3-4-ish territory with hard to judge because it was... just so boring.
Yeah.
What will be your rating?
Yeah, 3 or 4.
3 or 4.
Yeah.
So now that's the kind of warning. We'll go into spoilers, break down some of the specifics. Like, I didn't care that the apes had this, I don't know, eagle tribe connection thing, and it ended up being contrived because that's how they beat the bad guy at the end, is the eagles come in and save them. Because,
the eagles are coming.
because they can sing to the eagles and get him to attack the bad guy ape. And it's just so many things were deflating and the payoff just flat, right? Where, the eagles come in because they're singing, right? The bad guy, there's literally an opening where he could have just walked through and avoid the eagles, and I just grab him and crash. I wasn't convinced that he could have been defeated so drastically by the eagles. And then the people that they're supposed to be saving, right? This might be why I wasn't invested in them. They're all weak, pathetic losers that don't fight for themselves, give up at a moment's notice,
and
right?
At the end, they don't even... There's like, how many of them compared to the one ape?
Exactly! There's this one bad guy surrounded by the entire tribe that Noah's trying to save, and not a single friggin' one raises their hand to try and protect him. They're all cowed by this mean ape, and all he has to do is like, "Grrr," and they step back.
Yep.
And so if you're not going to fight for yourselves, I don't give a crap if you get up died, because you don't care either.
And they had to call in the eagles. They had to call the eagles in, who they've been conditioning to come in and do that.
Yeah, and even Noah didn't really fight too much. He just got the crap kicked out of him, and he rolled over, and then all he could end up doing later is to sing a bit to be saved. So I think that's the answer why I didn't care about this tribe being saved, because they didn't care about saving themselves. They were all weak, pathetic, rolling over victims that would just allow themselves to be enslaved, and not a single one really fighting to free themselves.
Yeah. Look, I don't know how much I can really say about my thoughts on the movie. I don't want to get anyone, least of all myself, in trouble. So
yeah, all right.
We could have a discussion later on if you want. To which you will have the same reaction. Not everyone, like 90% of the people on the other end of this camera will. Which is, what the hell is he talking about?
Yeah, basically. So... I was just seeing too many connections, too many symbolisms.
I'm sorry, Shad, but I can't help but see what I see, Like, they even say in the movie, this symbol has meaning. They say it many times, don't they?
Because of the language, the symbols have meaning.
Yes, but the fact is,
looking at letters.
Symbols do have meaning,
yes.
Right? Like even a man, something as simple as a man is a symbol for many different things, right? And so when I see eagles, when I see...
do they represent America?
Maybe. Maybe they represent America. Maybe they represent something else for which it's been a stand-in for a certain animal or people. Who knows, right? But the point is, they point out the planet Saturn, of all planets, to point to. Remember when they were in the bunker thing?
Yeah.
And they're going to the human library and they see the planetarium.
All right.
They point out Saturn for some reason. Why not Earth? Why not Mars? Why not Jupiter?
Maybe it was random.
Maybe it was completely random.
Yes. Maybe it was though.
Maybe it was.
All right. Back to the plot, right? There were some other kind of dumb moments that just didn't make sense. So you find out that the king ape that's trying to establish a kingdom, and that's really all that attention is given to the title of the film, The King of the Planet Apes, is that he's trying to make a kingdom by enslaving other tribes, and that's kind of it.
Yeah.
And the kingdom that he's building isn't really the issue. He's trying to dig into a bunker.
Yeah.
A vault, because it's got treasures in there, ancient human treasures. And it turns out that the girl, who is the key to everything, the smarter girl, she is searching for that bunker too. At first I was like, all right, was she part of a tribe? Because she was saying that maybe she was just a smarter human and her mum taught her not to be, speak too much, reveal that, there's still smart humans around. But no, it turns out she's actually from like an organized tech, group of people in another bunker.
You'd need to be, let's say you saw the end of the world coming. You'd need to be pretty wealthy to set something like that up, wouldn't you?
You would.
Yeah. I mean, it wouldn't be beyond rich people to, let the world end and just be away in their own little vaults and stuff.
While the virus wiped everyone out.
Yeah. They wouldn't do something like that.
Never. So it turns out that was her goal, right? And this bunker is sealed off.
Yeah.
But that's not a problem. It's like this is where, pitch meeting. If they were, I love pitch meeting. Great YouTube channel where a guy is saying, and then they come to a bunker that's like got this huge door and no one can get in. And then the other guy says, well, I bet that's going to be really hard for the heroes to get in. And then he says, no, it's actually going to be super easy, barely inconvenience. Why? There's just a back door that they can walk in through.
Yeah.
That's literally it. I was like, oh, come off it. I was expecting it's a vent, right? But wouldn't you have some type of security on that vent to prevent other people getting in?
Yeah.
There's nothing.
Prevent. Vent.
That's a bad pun.
It's a great pun because it includes the thing you're complaining about.
It does. I was
thinking the same thing as you were saying it.
Yeah.
So now I feel smart.
Dude. There wasn't even a door. There's just like stairs going down and it's a free entry and it's like, okay, well, yeah, that's great security. And then they have this big moment when they... so she's just looking for like a hard drive, basically.
What's on it?
Well, it's not really told apart from...
Satellite data?
Yeah, now they can communicate with other humans in other vaults.
Just like, I feel like we are going to evolve down this path of like the world's going to end. And the most important thing for humanity is we need the Wi-Fi back. We've got to get the Wi-Fi back.
She said it was to give humans their voice back. And I thought, maybe these people in this bunker were doing research to come up with some type of medical procedure to reverse the virus, right? That's what I think. But no, it was just meant they could talk to other humans now. That was giving their voice back. I was like, oh, man, my own, assumption was better than what we ultimately got.
Yeah.
Okay, so they get that. They open the door of the vault, and the bad guy is there, right? He was waiting for him. Somehow, he just knew that they were in there, even though there was nothing to indicate how, right?
Well, his house human was missing.
But, there's that. But they dumped him into the water. He was just... So, this bunker, right, is made in a really odd place. That was one of my first thoughts as to... It's on the ocean. So much so that if you open it up, the water will run. Maybe the sea line has changed. Thing is, though, there are like rotten, decrepit cargo ships in there. So that's actually indicating this is the shoreline of however many years ago when humans were in place. So it was built there along the shoreline, and it is so much a problem that they have to build a dam to prevent the water rushing in. That's a really retarded place to place a vault.
Yeah, and what's worse is there's a way to get in easily through the top.
Exactly. It's really dumb, okay? And it feels like the only reason they did that is to force what they do later in the plot, which is when the bad ape catches them, they set an explosive to blow apart the dam to flood the vault to prevent the bad apes from getting it.
Yeah.
And so it feels like instead of thinking about what would be the best, most logical place to put a vault, they said, we need a reason to get rid of the vault in the story, so we're going to place it in front of the sea line to achieve what we want in the plot instead of making up something that makes sense.
Yeah. But you notice, Shad, how that underground vault was kind of like an ark for humanity, right? Mm-hmm. An ark that got flooded. And what was the ape's name again?
Noah.
Huh. Do you see why I look at the symbols, Shad? Why I look for the symbols? We got the ark, we got the flood, we got Noah.
What does it mean, though, Oz? You can ascribe meaning to everything.
Yes, you can. Okay. Yes. Which is why it's hard to tell the difference between true meaning and
See
nonsense.
these Pringles. This moustache.
Yes.
This looks like the Monopoly Man moustache, right?
What it actually means.
And so
Italians.
because of that, this is a dog whistle to the capitalistic endeavors of Pringles as a brand.
It very well might be, but it also might be maybe he's holding multiple Pringles in front of his mouth. It could also be an Italian person because this is.
Thank for derailing us again, Oz. I know I dived into that one
There's
as well.
more in there. There you go.
I know. I think they're stale. Let me just test out. Oh, no, pretty good. They're still good.
What the fallout? Okay. Anyway,
A little stale, but they're still good.
that's fine. If my jokes are edible, then anyway.
Okay. I want you to describe what you remember of the vault.
Okay.
So we saw what the entrance is like. It opened up to what?
It opened. What on which side of the vault?
Inside. So they're going into. So
It looked like a hangar bay.
hangar bay. So it was pretty big.
It looked almost identical to the vacuum chamber that NASA uses for testing stuff.
So they open up, and the floor line is level, but it goes opening up high.
Yeah, but then it seems to go down as well.
But
towards the
then,
back,
but yeah, you saw that scene. But there was also levels
going up to
up. Yeah. So based on how big the door was and the height of the water that the dam was holding back, how much should it have flooded?
Certainly not the whole thing.
Not the whole thing.
Would that be possible? I guess it
The
might
door looked higher than the line of the sea, and the dam was only like, what, 5 meters tall? Okay, maybe 10 at
maybe
most.
10. Yeah.
Okay, not much, but this was a huge door, right?
Yeah.
And so it would flood everything lower, but this hangar bay went up. And so as it's flooding, I'm thinking, they're trying to say, oh no, this is bad because we're trapped inside. So let me play through what happened because you might not be too interested in watching this, so I need to explain it, right? Noah and the girl and his two friends are inside the bunker. They open it up. The bad guy's there, and the bad guy wants his victory seen by Noah's tribe, which seems a bit arbitrary and an odd thing to do. The reason why they did that is because they want the tribe at the end to be present to defeat him.
However, I think you might have missed something because the guy, Caesar, he's like, has she left something for me in there? Thinking, has she left a trap in there? And my logic is he's bringing that dude's tribe in case there is a trap in there.
Yeah.
So they're the first victims of it.
You're doing the job for the writers, though, filling in that.
Well, otherwise, why did the monkey say that?
Because they wanted the tribe there for the ending scene.
Well, it's convenient both ways. I'm just giving them benefit of the doubt. That's my interpretation.
Also, so I don't remember saying that. What do you remember?
He said, I told you never trust a human, and they're all freaking out going ape. and he's
is that a racial slur when you actually use it to apes?
to apes.
Yeah.
Apes gonna be offended? They're just gonna grab
But
me,
an
kill
ape
me.
might say, hang on, you think it's natural behavior for me to go crazy? Because that's what's being implied when you say going ape.
Sorry.
Got him!
But no, so they were all going crazy, and he said, never trust a human, and then he said, has she left something for me back in there?
Okay. So that could explain it. So by doing that, he calls all of his tribe in. And then he says, she pulls out a gun, shoots one of the bad apes, threatening the girlfriend ape. And then the bad guy ape is like, you can go, just tell me there's more of those weapons in there. I want those weapons. And she's like, you can't have them. And that makes her blow the dam, knowing that she's pretty much killing Noah and his tribe. That's what the movie's implying. But it shouldn't have been that threatening because, like I said, it could have only flooded the vault by about 10 meters up when it had several stories going up inside that mountain cliff face. And so he goes, climbers like, yeah, well then he goes there, go up a couple of levels, and you're fine. But then it starts to flood upwards. And I'm like, what is going on?
Yeah.
That's not how water works.
What are those what are they called? The people who study water and how that works.
I don't know.
So I've been watching a lot for some reason. Hydrolysis, probably, yeah.
No.
I've been getting recommended a lot of water stuff for some reason on YouTube. And like for example, right, if you've got a river next to a beach and you dig the tiny little river that leads from the river to the beach, that thing will widen and there's nothing to stop it.
Yeah,
right?
well, that's just not like pulls it apart.
So water does crazy stuff. What I'm thinking is, what if the ocean was just high enough to get to the top of the vault and that inward pressure just filled it? Maybe. I don't know. I'm not a hydro...
because then the internal pressure inside would prevent the water coming in anymore.
But there was a hole at the top.
There was. They had a ventilation system which made... But water seeks its own level. It wouldn't have gone higher. And so I'm watching that thinking, this is dumb, and I'm not invested now in this supposed threat or thing to the tribe because it shouldn't be that threatening. There was a moment when I think they could have made Noah look pretty good. It's when the gorilla comes in to fight him, right, at the end. And he doesn't really win. He just tricks him into a place that he can't get free, and then the gorilla is about to drown, right? I thought they might have have Noah do something noble, save the gorilla, and say, "Apes together strong," and then the gorilla is like, "I'm on your side now. You saved me. You showed me the mercy that my former leader never would." And then that would have been a good setup, because when the big bad guy comes in, the gorilla could have helped him defeat him and say, "Apes together strong," and there would be a message of peace and unity that they need to work together, which is something that the old films had. This one doesn't. He's just like, "Screw you, let you drown."
Yeah. You should have wrote this movie, man. It'd be much less triggering to me. But I just don't see why they're even fighting at the end there. Like, we've both been tricked and left for dead, basically murdered by the human. Why are we fighting each other?
Which is also kind of annoying because, I mean, what's a human? Is that the message? Humans are just bad in this film.
I think the message of the movie is look out for your own.
Basically.
Fair enough.
Screw everyone else. Look out for yourself and get revenge on the person that, enslaved you. Look, yeah, revenge on the person that enslaved your people. I could understand that. There could have been an interesting story here.
Yeah.
But it was completely pushed into obscurity, which was the girl's mission. They could have actually had that be the story where we found out that where a vault is by some old records or something like that, which has information of and they would make it that they were researching a way to cure humans from the stupid virus.
Yeah.
Not because the virus is stupid, it makes humans stupid. That's why it's the stupid virus.
Yeah. But also,
and then she has to journey to get there. She has a mission. That means we have a clear, visible goal that the audience get invested in and watch her. And then she gets some help by the apes, and then there's bad apes along the way. And then apes realize that human and apes need to work together, and then he could help her, hoping. But
you mean the plot of the second movie, basically, which was infinitely better than this one? Because that's the plot of the second movie.
Probably. It feels like it is retreading some ground, doesn't it?
But there's no reason not to do that. It's a good message,
Yeah. Humans and apes working together. The thing is, though, if they're trying to set up, push the world into the place where the original Planet of the Apes film was, which started in humans are animals, apes are in control, but apes in the original film have an actual ordered society where they're still tribal and they're not setting up civilization yet. If that's where they're pushing, right, it doesn't make sense that humans would be able to recover, because in that setting that you're aiming for, humans are even in a worse state. And I thought that going into the film they might be playing with some of that. Like I was wondering if the girl could have been one of the astronauts that came down, because they teased that in the first film that there were astronauts that went off into space before the virus landed.
Maybe that's who the people were communicating with at the end.
Maybe it didn't seem like that though. It felt like there was just other colonies.
Yeah, but they did say it's great to hear another voice. Like, they were really panicked. So do you sit by the radio for years, panicked, waiting for someone, and then all of a sudden, or do you sit out in space like, what the hell's going on? And then you find
they can't have been sitting in space though, because they said multiple this is like 500 to 1,000 years later.
Yes.
So they have to have gone with the same plot point that they go through a wormhole or something. That's some space distortion that sends them into the future.
That's what they talked about that's what they were seeing through the telescope.
They never showed what they were looking at.
But he said he's a void that eats light. That's what they said that they saw, or a hole that eats light, something like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you didn't hear that?
Yeah, I thought they were talking about the telescope. The telescope eats light.
Oh, I assumed that they were looking out at a wormhole.
Oh, okay.
Just based on what I know.
Possibly. That would be better if it was. Yeah. So there might have been a story about that, right? Even if that was it, actually, to set up them contacting the the people in the upper orbit, whatever, right? But instead, we actually don't know what she's after through most of the film. It's not even really revealed. She gets a hard drive and she says to give humans their voice back. And then ends up walking to a facility where there's heap of humans, and they got technology, and we don't know how or why they've been able to survive so long and get so much equipment, and they're working well and all that stuff.
Why didn't Caesar find that place?
Yeah, like
Much smaller door there.
it shows a much more interesting plot than what we got, which was something that, again, a tribe of people get kidnapped that don't want to really save themselves, so I don't really care if they, get saved then, because they don't seem to care. A bad guy, which is a bad guy, is doing nasty things, and it's very cliche. But he also didn't do anything so bad that made me just want to see him get destroyed,
Just the classic, crush your enemies, see them driven before you.
Yeah, he was just a jerk, a bit mean, enslaving people, and, he likes smart apes and whatnot. There was one moment where I thought, okay, is this film willing to get a bit, a bit edgy? It's when the girl kills the other human. And it's like, she's willing to... But that just made her more ambiguous, and in terms of... It made her more morally ambiguous, I'm saying, making it less clear if you wanted to root for her or not, which made you less invested.
Well, I'd like to see it as it's more of like the utility of, not being an ape. Like, there's a lot of utility in needing to, well, when you need to, when you absolutely have to, there's utility in killing your own kind, when it's absolutely necessary, like in this case.
Yeah, but if the film was trying to say, look, humans are willing to kill their own kind, because they were showing Noah and them react like that, I'm sorry, you have a bad guy ape that literally, previously someone said he will skin your ape alive, meaning this ape skins other apes alive and just murders them wholesale. And so if you're trying to play a message of humans can be so violent to their own kind, that doesn't have any good juxtaposition or contrast, because you have apes being even just as barbaric or even worse.
Oh no, I was saying that there's utility in it. Like that's what we have over the apes in this situation, even though they kill each other all the time.
Small annoyance, pet peeve. They go, they get taken to the big bad king ape, base, and it's in a abandoned, rotting away cargo ship, right? Do you remember the first scene when you saw that? You saw the cargo ship when they take him to him, right?
Yeah.
It was lopsided, okay? It was on an angle. It wasn't resting yet. Every single thing we go in is usually flat ground or only slightly on an angle. Where it's like, no, you saw it on a 45 degree. Sorry.
Everything in this movie was lopsided. So you didn't like it because it wasn't centered.
No, they showed the boat on an angle, and then the inside of the boat is level.
So if you were to get the center of gravity for that, it wouldn't be centered. Is an inside joke. No, I agree.
The orangutan was a decent character. He seemed funny, friendly. Then he died.
Yeah. They killed off the only good character.
What else is there? They kind of like tease the whole look at what humans knew kind of thing.
What happened to why were there no people in the vault?
I don't know. That's a good question. It did seem sealed up.
There were signs of life. There was books and stuff.
Well, that indicates that there was children there. The vault was still sealed. So, they could have just gotten out of the back door. And so maybe the virus got in, they all went dumb and sought the light and all got free.
Maybe. But that just still seems dumb. Like, there should be signs, like, there's just no explanation as to why they're not there. Yeah, and no explanation as to why the other people are still there.
And if there are still, like, smart humans that are, like, locked away and working and stuff, they didn't explain why they haven't had more success trying to reestablish civilization. They showed in the other films that there were large amounts of humans that were not affected by the virus. What happened to them? They seem to say that the humans now have gotten dumb, which is indicating somewhat that the virus may be mutated, but we're never told that. That's just me making assumptions, and I'm left with more assumptions because she's fine. She's out in the world, not affected, indicating that there are humans that are not affected by the virus. Is the virus even around still? And so they don't explain why humans aren't doing better than what they are. And it's weird. She is fine in the world, but when she contacts this group of humans that are living in this other bunker, right? The one that meets her is wearing a hazmat suit, indicating that they're afraid of a virus.
Yeah.
But she's not affected by the virus. And so I'm just confused.
Yeah, this makes no sense.
Yeah, and again, we saw other humans not affected by the virus before in other films. So what's going on, you know?
Well, in the interim between 1, 2, and 3. So 1, the virus gets off and goes global, and it's like basically lethal, right?
Yes.
And then 2, the virus is everyone that's left is immune to it, right?
Seems that's what was implied by the films.
And then by 3, it's mutated, where that's the first time we see there's a girl who can't talk.
I don't remember that. Was that there?
Then she gives it to a military dude, and he can't talk, and so that's where.
Okay, so that's where they do foreshadow the virus mutating, making people dumb.
It's the central plot of that movie, basically, and then all the humans kill each other at the end. And
It's been a while since I watched that one.
yeah, it wasn't very good.
But okay, she's fine though.
She's fine. Look, I don't know what the half-life is on these viruses, but it's very inconsistent in how they deal with it.
Yeah. So, because that's the other thing. If do all the infected humans that are dumb still carry the virus? Is it like a permanent thing?
I don't know. Well, I would assume so, but
Because that would be an interesting plot. If the humans want to, I guess, resettle, but their only ability to do it is by wiping out the virus, and the only people who carry the virus now are other humans.
and it fits right in with the woke messaging too.
They would need to wipe out the other humans to. And would it be moral then? Because they're animals, essentially. They don't have higher intelligence thinking anymore.
Well, that's the question, though, because they don't have speech. However, they seem to collect into groups. They're drinking water sources.
Never stopped humans doing it.
They're covering themselves up.
Okay, that probably is one of the few things. Clothing
Yep.
indicates a type of moral system.
Yes, and the
'Cause
virus.
It indicates shame and self-awareness.
Yes, speaking of shame and self-awareness, in the last movie they did, the third one, when the main military guy got sick, he got the virus that makes him stop talking. He gets a gun and kills himself because he knows what it is and what it means. He's just unable to speak. And we actually have that in real life. People will damage a certain part of their brain. They're perfectly cognizant. They can read and write and everything.
But
they just can't talk.
they obviously have lost a certain measure of intelligence because they're,
Well, I chalk that up to the movie being retarded, not humanity.
possibly. So there are just things that don't make sense, but you can enjoy a film that has some of those problems in it, like Fall Guy. There were some things that didn't make sense in Fall Guy, but it was a tremendously enjoyable film.
Yeah.
This had nothing. And so not only to have nothing to get invested in, no real impressive wow set pieces, like a big battle or anything like that. It was all deflating and a disappointment.
Yeah, the second one had tons of those moments. Like, remember when the apes, they finally attack all the humans? It is the perfect description of going ape-s, right? That was awesome.
So racist, Oz. You can't ascribe going it. Oh, look, I'm joking.
You're triggering me.
I'm joking because it's dumb, I know, but
do you
some
remember?
people would.
Do you remember when the apes are attacking, right? And it's got there's the camera shot where it's like just following the it's like on a tank, and the tank is like rotating as it shows. It's a perfect shot. It just goes around and around. And the apes just going crazy. Yeah, and also why the second movie was better than this one, and the one before it, is because the second one followed the humans and the apes like almost perfectly in the same like level, right? Like they got the same amount of screen time. You knew the motivations of both going in.
Yeah.
This one didn't. You didn't really know the motivations of anyone until halfway, quarter of the way through.
Yeah, I mean, the bad ape motivations was clear, but again, he didn't do anything so vile that you just wanted to see him get defeated. And then his defeat ultimately was very unsatisfying. Oh, eagles. He got attacked by eagles, which made him lose his balance, and he fell off a cliff. And Noah didn't really do anything inventive or clever to make it win. And the girl, the human girl, she basically just like, screw you all, I'm out.
You guys,
But basically doing something that very likely would kill all the apes caught in the vault. She's like, can't let them.
Sorry.
So ultimately, there's not much there. Didn't enjoy it.
Just boring.
Boring. Is a film worse if it's boring like this, or if it's drowning in subversive ideological propaganda?
Well, I saw both, but honestly, I'm more offended if it's boring.
I probably hate the ideological subversive one, especially if it's like taking, franchises we love and destroying them.
Well, that's the thing. Which one gets a rise out of you? For me, it's boredom, because I have ADHD severely. Yeah.
Yeah, but this was a hard film to get through. Go watch Fall Guy instead. That's a fun movie.
Yep. Or go watch any of the other Bloody Apes movies.
Yes. Stay on watch.